Good afternoon, class. My name is Nicholas Bourget. Today I'm going to be telling you about wind turbines and why I don't think they're the solution to renewable energy. Many believe that wind turbines are going to be the solution to renewable energy. They currently are powering over 10% of U.S. homes. 10% of the U.S.'s electricity. It's the largest growing source of renewable energy right now. And as of November 2024, there are over 70,000 in the United States and outside the United States in our territories like Guam and Puerto Rico. They've been built inland in like the middle of the country and also on the coast as well to harvest the wind from the sea. There are many benefits, mainly being that it's clean, all the energy that they're generating over the course of the year. But what is the cost of having such an efficient wind energy source? The cost is the death of all flying species. Research suggests that over 200,000 bats are killed every single year at the hands of wind turbines. The value of bats goes a long way, from benefits to farm owners. Bats play a huge role in medicine as well. But to farm owners, they eat all the insects that could be harming the crops. And to medicine, we use bats in things like cancer research. So the amount of bats that are dying each year is it's detrimental. The bats like the hoary bat, for example, have seen a very strong decrease in population, and these are the kind of bats that are found at the base of wind turbines. Researchers and farmers are going to have to come up with new ideas for protections of crops and new ways to research medicines, like life-saving medicines, like cancer research. Excuse me. The biggest issue is the location of these wind turbines. The sites were not properly researched, and as a result of that, bats that have been using migratory paths through where these wind farms are built are the ones that are resulting in, their species that are declining. The lack of restriction and the lack of research that goes into building these wind farms is insane. There's really, when you go on Google and look it up, there's no restrictions that are placed on them. It's more just finding a location and getting approval to build them. Bats, it's been generations that they've been traveling the same paths for their migrations every year. They use echolocation to navigate. They don't just see the big wind turbine, the big spinning wheel of death. When they're traveling, they don't notice the noise. There's like a slight humming that comes from the wind turbines. They're not able to navigate through the air, and as a result, 200,000 of them die every year. They're colliding with the blades, they're colliding with the post itself, and they're dying. Over the next 10 years, we could have a lot more endangered species than just the hoary bat from these wind turbines. But bats are not the only victim. Bird death is a lot worse. It's estimated that between 500,000 and 1 million birds are killed annually by wind turbines. The toll is higher for birds than it is bats, because wind farms are built inland and on the coast. So birds fly inland and on the coast. Bats only fly inland. The difference is the seabirds. Strong winds can push the birds into the blades, as well as just the location of them. Many birds aren't familiar. These are new locations, new sites that are built. Birds, they play a vital role in our food chain. We need them to eat insects. We need them. They're like a keystone species. They eat, they die, they regrow. Birds are very beneficial for our society, and keeping the insects at like a lower population is required. We can't just have insects and no birds. They go together. And that brings me to insect extinction. Insects are probably the largest affected group by wind turbines. What happens is insects collide with the blades, same as birds and bats, but Insects are affected that 1.2 trillion a year are estimated at the death are dying to wind turbines. It's according to the wind turbine national database. A single wind turbine can kill up to 40 million insects per year, and at least 75% of global crops are reliant on insects for things like pollination, and decomposition of like dead crops. Humans need insects to survive. The substantial death of insects is going to continue to affect our society going forward, and we need them, and the birds need them. Everyone needs insects. My last point of conflict with wind turbines is going to be marine life. New studies, so this is newer research. There's not as much numbers in terms of how much have died, but new research is correlating marine death and offshore wind farms that are built along our country's coast. Areas where there are offshore wind farms have seen a much larger increase in marine death and collision. Marine life like dolphins, whales, they echolocate, and they're confusing the hums of the turbines for food. This is causing animals to collide with boats, collide with the wind turbines themselves, collide with other animals, collide with the coast. As a result, feeding grounds are being lost. It's harder for these species to migrate, and ultimately they're washing up on shore. I see it on the news all the time. These aquatic species just washing up, and people don't understand why. And then you look down the coast and you see all these new wind construction, or these wind farm constructions that are built. So I guess my main takeaway is renewable energy is good. It's good to find ways that we can power our company that aren't releasing harmful gases and stuff into the environment, but we need to find a better way to do it in terms of location, regulation, where these things are built, the lives it could be impacting. It's not just bats, birds, flying species, humans. Noise pollution comes from these. There's a lot of negative impacts that are coming from wind turbines, and we need to put in some sort of legislation that regulates where these are built, the scale at which they're built, because we can't have populations declining. We need bats, we need insects, we need birds. Over the next 10, 20 years, it's estimated more than half the bats are going to be at risk of extinction. So I want you guys all to take home that you may read, you may see online that this is a growing beneficial cause, but I don't believe it is. And it's up to us to stop the construction of these, or else we're not going to have any animals left. Thank you.